Hello and welcome to F1 22. It's finally here. I'm a little bit behind, I'll be honest. It's been a few days since the game actually came out, of course, with early access on Tuesday. But we're here, and it's the first episode in what will be our brand new career mode. I was thinking about maybe doing a My Team for the start of this game, but I think everybody else has been doing that. So we're going to do a driver career mode, as we have been in the past. And we're going to go ahead and pick a midfield running team to get ourselves started. I thought about maybe doing a return to glory from all the way at the back, but let's give ourselves a chance to learn the new cars, fight for some points, and then who knows, maybe later on in the game cycle we'll do some My Team or a return to glory, we'll see. So we're going to go ahead and pick the driver, obviously, first, driver career.
Let's create your driver.
Let's do that. So while we're doing that in the background, let's run you through what will be our first season. Thought about maybe doing a full season, but I think I would just lose motivation halfway through it. So we're going to stick with 16. We've done 10 before, so we're going to up that to 16 this time. And we're going to start in Saudi Arabia for round 1. We're going to then go off to Australia, Imola, Miami, Spain, Azerbaijan, Canada, Great Britain, Austria, France, Belgium, back to Italy for Monza, Japan, Mexico, and then we will round out the season in Brazil and Abu Dhabi.
But not least, so we need to decide which team to sign with. Choose carefully, as once you reach F1, the team you drive for will expect you to deliver appropriate results.
It'll be a fun one. But let's reveal which team we've picked. Yes, we've gone for Alpine, a midfield
Great,
team.
That's everything we need. You can go back and edit anything we've done so far, and we'll come back here at the start of each season. Or if you're ready to go, hit advance to head to Team HQ, and we can start our push to the top of Formula 1.
A midfield team, I was about to say before I was interrupted, but a strong midfield team. So, like I said, we want to find our feet with this series, and we'll see how we get on. So, jumping straight in then, let's bring some upgrades. Let's bring some, hopefully, upgrades to the first race. We want to work on weight reduction first. Make sure we just shed as much of that weight as we possibly can. These F1 22 cars are heavy. So we're going to do an energy store upgrade, and then we're going to go ahead and look at what else we can do. You can see in the bottom right, obviously, aerodynamics is pretty good. Everything else needs a bit of work. So we're just seeing what we can afford. We're going to do some engine work and hopefully increase the output of the already pretty strong Alpine engine, and that will, if they all come in, make us the 4th best car on the grid. So that'll be a good strong start to the season, shall we say.
Hello folks, and welcome to Paddock Pass, your pre-race edition for the inaugural round of the 2022 Formula 1 World Championship. And I've got to say, it feels great to be back.
Certainly does feel great to be back. We are here then in Saudi Arabia for the first round of this 16 race season in F1 22. Our first time out on track in these brand new cars. It's exciting. And we are joining Alpine as our brand new driver, Nicolas Marshall. So let's head to the track then.
Let's get a few laps under our belt.
We'll be hopefully filling you in on a bit of character as we go. We're going to go out onto the medium tyres for the first ever time here at Jeddah. Here we go then, out the garage, out the pit lane. Have to be super steady out the pit lane in these cars because they are rather lively on the old cold tyres. So here we are out in practice doing a race run. Currently looking decent. And there is what happens if you take a bit too much of a liberty with the curbs. Let's have another look at that. Watch closely, you'll see I just get the floor just too much over the curb. Here you go, look. We just caught the curb and we just unsettled the car, and round we go, giving our mechanics some work then. But we did manage to get back out and get ourselves some good resource points for the upgrades. So looking good as we head into qualifying then at Jeddah. This is going to be an interesting one. We've got a good car. You've got Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes all at the top. I would say we're maybe 4th or 5th best car on the grid at the moment. So we've got a good chance here. As we round the final corner to start what will be our first ever qualifying lap. It will also be the first time I've driven on the soft tyres, so this is going to be an interesting lap. We head down into turn 1. Looking good so far. And later in the lap, round the final corner. Decent exit. Let's see where this is going to put us. P3 currently.
Okay, we've only got 1 lap of fuel remaining. Should
be good enough, and it is good enough to get us out of qualifying 1. So we're into Q2 along with our teammate Esteban Ocon, who's down in P12. And here we are then, setting our first lap in Q2. And across the line, P2 so far. Obviously, it wasn't going to stay that way for very long with the Ferraris and the Red Bull speed. We did beat Sergio Perez, though, in Q2, so we're safe and we're into Q3 for the first time ever on the F122 game. And here we are in Q3. This first sector is really satisfying when you get it right, but we haven't got it right. The curbs are brutal in this game. We just did it again. We just unsettled the car and round it went. We did, however, go back to the garage and sort that out. And we managed to qualify ourselves in P6 for our first ever race. That's a good result. I'm happy with that. Honestly, I don't know if we could have done much better given the pace of everybody else on the grid. Let's have a look then at
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who'll be fronting the grid. Leclerc, Sainz and Max Verstappen. With qualifying wrapped up now, we have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
Hope so. P6 then, sandwiched in between the Mercedes. This is going to be an interesting one, and Ocon managing to get himself a P9. So strong start for the team. Let's see what we can do in the Grand Prix.
No more testing, no more practice. This is the real deal, and it's make or break here at round 1 of this year's Formula One World Championship. So let's take a look at the topographical map of the Jeddah Street Circuit. As you can see, a number of challenging corners for the drivers to master here. We'll see just how much the teams have benefited from their time spent in practice this weekend. And like many street circuits, this track has the potential to punish drivers that get it wrong. Let's hope we avoid any safety cars today. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and a very happy Carlos Sainz will start second. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Perez, George Russell, Marshall, Hamilton, Bottas, Ocon, and Pierre Gasly, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Lando Norris, and Mick Schumacher, Stroll, Vettel, Guan Yu Zhou, and Daniel Ricciardo, Albon, and Nicolas Latifi. And now it's time to head down to the track. So here we are in 2022 at the start of another Formula One World Championship. It all begins here, the start of the next generation of Formula One. With the end of the second turbocharged era, a new dawn begins. New regulations have been brought in to promote better racing, with the two big standout changes being the wheel size increase and the aerodynamics on the car itself. But will this result in us having a repeat fight for the driver championship? Will Mercedes retain their constructors title? We have lots to discuss then with Anthony Davidson, who's joined me in the commentary box for today's event.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Let's hope for some good racing today as well. We can't know at this point how competitive the teams are relative to each other, but hopefully nobody's able to run and hide. We want to see these drivers pushing to the limit all the way to the checkered flag.
So as the formation lap gets underway here for the first time this season, each driver will be wanting to make an impactful start to their season by earning those crucial points and getting a confidence booster right from the off. We're almost ready to start the race as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
Behind started to drop back, with the gap beginning to form. Let's make the most of it. Okay, focus. We need to stay on form. Gap. They're just starting to pull away from us now. Okay, good work. Great pass. In this lap, push now. Starting to catch the car in front, but we need to look after the tyres. We won't be making another pit stop. Good job, nice overtake. In front is 11.0 seconds. We've only got 2 laps of fuel left. Okay, we have a severe engine issue. Find a safe space to retire or return to the pits. Pete, find somewhere to retire the car immediately. It's too dangerous to stay on track.
Great effort there from Ferrari to take the victory today. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari, do it again.
Well, that wasn't the start we were expecting in this career mode, was it? An engine failure in race 1, and we were on pace to maybe get a P5 there. If we could have tactically overtaken the Mercedes on the last lap, I reckon we could have had that. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is, and that is the nature of this sport sometimes. So we head back to the factory and see what went wrong with the engine, and hopefully come out stronger next time. Esteban Ocon, though, did score a couple of points for the team, so it's not all bad news. Obviously, not quite the 10 points that we were aiming for, but we didn't know where we were going to be in as we came out for the first race of the season. We maybe thought that we might be battling the Alfa Romeos and the Hasses. In fact, we were battling with Mercedes, which is great for us. So let's have a look at the championship standings then. Of course, it just is what happened in race 1. So 2 points for Esteban Ocon, 0 points for us. Charles Leclerc leads the championship after the first round. Constructor standings. Ferrari, of course, 41 points. Red Bull with 30 points. And Alpine, 2 points, puts us in 6th for now. And that was the first round of our driver career mode in F1 22. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like, leave a little comment below, subscribe if you're new, and join us next time as we head to Australia for the second round. Bye.